So tonight I want to talk about not just saying yes to cupcakes. I actually want to talk about the power of saying yes. Um, I found in my life that when I say yes, especially in the face of fear, it takes me on this amazing journey to find my identity. So for me, saying yes has always been a catalyst to something cool that was going to just change my paradigm and stretch my experiences and make me a little less fearful the next time. So I always wanted to help people, and I wanted to travel. And people told me my whole life that you could only travel if you were rich. And when I went off to study psychology in school, they said, well, you're never going to make any money doing that, and you're not going to be successful, so you're not going to get to travel. And so I am actually from a small town. This is my theme song here. And so I had these big dreams of being able to do both. I graduated from school, as they said, made no money. And 5 years later, I met this crazy IT consulting company. And for some reason, they offered me a job as a junior project manager. I wasn't qualified, right? So I was terrified. But they said I could travel, and I said, I'm in. So they started to send me around North America and then around the globe, learning as I went and gaining all these different experiences, but with a group of people that actually supported me and understood my fears, but supported me through them and helped me grow. The first exotic location I got to go to was Cleveland, Ohio. And yes, this is a real picture of my journey to Cleveland, Ohio. And I found that I really liked consulting. I found that I really liked helping people. And I found that I liked flying to work instead of driving to work. And I found that I liked making all my new friends in airports, which was weird and fun at the same time. But the whole journey, I was actually learning and growing and taking on new challenges, and every single one of them was scary, and every single new place was fearful. But it took me 4 years, and I got to stretch myself and go around North America, learning and growing in different diverse roles in different industries and with different people, and meeting all sorts of fascinating people that just really kept stretching my paradigm. Few trips back and forth to Europe, which again, small town girl, never had a passport till she was 28. So I didn't have those experiences before. And 5 years into my time at this company, I got an opportunity to be able to travel internationally. So I'm thinking, oh, this is so awesome, maybe like London or Paris or Australia, and they offered me rural India. And so, of course, I was afraid, right? But I decided to say yes anyway and just kind of step into that fear. And I found that I connected with another part of humanity in a different way, that we actually all want the same things, right? We all want to be happy. We all want to be successful. We all want love. We all want our families to have good lives. And it gave me a different level of empathy for people who come to my country and feel completely out of place. Because for the first time in my life, I did not blend in. I was the white Irish girl from rural Pennsylvania who didn't understand the language or the culture or the food. But I had a wonderful time, and I learned a different thing about myself. And so I came back to the US a changed person. And I took on a leadership role at my company and started traveling, living in New York, traveling back and forth to South America, back and forth to India. But I wasn't satisfied anymore because I had met a different kind of people who weren't as, frankly, privileged and spoiled as I had been as an American. And what I wanted to do was start to find ways through this journey of taking technology to them. So I talked to my boss and said, look, if there's anything that comes up, can you please, think of me, because I want to do something that's a little different here at this company instead of just make rich people richer. And so he called me a few weeks later and said, we've been doing some work in rural Haiti. There's a hospital that's been built there after the earthquake. We've been building the computer systems for that, the medical record systems. Do you want to go? And I said, yes. And so this is a picture of that hospital in Mirabelais. You can see the slums all around the outside. And again, just saying yes and finding more ways to watch all these different scary events in my life every time I had fought against adversity and fought against fear and said yes, all come together. I came back from Haiti, and the phone rang again. And I should really stop answering the phone. And the phone rang again, and my boss said, the Minister of Health for Uganda has heard about our work in Haiti. They want to come to your office in New York and talk about what they can do in technology for literally the poorest of the poor of their citizenry. Will you facilitate for 2 days? And I was terrified. I didn't know anything about diplomats, but I said yes. So they came into my office. We facilitated for 2 days, talked about how they could actually get technology in the hands of their rural clinics. And all of a sudden the pieces were starting to fit together. The pieces of 10 years of this journey were starting to come together and help me realize that what I really set out to do to help people, I could now use everything I had learned in technology. And the journey ended with taking 15 days and traveling around with the Minister of Health through Asia looking for hardware partners, and I represented them as the tech partner. And it was so humbling because, remember, I was the girl from a small town who wasn't ever supposed to accomplish anything. But I said yes. So I want to leave you with 4 lessons. One is just say yes. Just step into it. Like, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? You're going to mess up, so what? But if you say no because you're afraid, you'll always regret that. Say yes. The second one is surround yourself with people who actually believe in you, in your aptitude, in your capabilities, and not just your experiences. Philosophers and theologians, they call this speaking words of encouragement or speaking words of life over people. Surround yourself with good people who do that for you. It will mean the world to you. And then the third is, what do you say about yourself? Do you speak words of life over yourself? Do you actually look at yourself in the mirror and go, well, you're not strategic, you're not a visionary, you're not ever going to be a CEO, you can never do this, you came from a small town, no one ever believes in you. Stop that. Speak words of life over yourself. Speak words of encouragement over yourself and actually believe in you. And then the fourth is, don't be afraid to shift your paradigm. Step out of something that is so comfortable into something that is so uncomfortable and just embrace it. And from my own personal experience, I can tell you, if you are willing to admit that you have biases and admit that you're wrong and shift your paradigm and actually say yes, it'll take you on the most amazing journey of your life. Thanks.